My name's Stephen Duncan. I'm 56. Somebody told me I was 57, but I think I'm 56.
So I'm Barney Black. Barnaby Black when I was growing up younger and got shortened. I'm a young 51.
I've known Barney for a long time. The first time I ever saw him, I think they hadn't long moved into Muirton, and a good friend of mine, Stephen Banks, who stayed in the same close as Barney, took us up to, I think we were nosy, eh? He took us up to see the new neighbours, and that's when I first ever met Barney.
So my memories of Stephen go back to when I was a kid, but he was always, whenever I saw Dunks, we just had a acknowledgement of who we were, no doubt, because we grew up, he lived around the corner for me.
And I still remember his dad had the Easy Rider poster on the wall above the fireplace.
I kind of hung about in the same pubs. I moved away from Perth, and bizarrely, I don't know if Dunks will remember this, when I first came back, Dunks was one of the first familiar faces that I saw. He was training a bunch of lads, I think it was Genefield. He used to coach football. And our paths kept seeming to cross.
Barney would pass me, we would talk, and we would talk and just say hi, blah, 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 all these kind of things.
I was passing him regularly just because of where Dunks lives. And I had this idea, and he was the man I thought would be an ideal partner to help get it off the ground.
He approached me, he asked me about the podcast.
I grew up in Muirton probably from when I was about 3 and left when I was about 16. So that's a long time ago. We began to see things on Facebook. There's like the All Perth Bairns, there's All Muirton Bairns. There's lots of other people kind of posting pictures of the days gone by and sharing photographs and things.
We just put our heads together and we thought, well, firstly we discussed what it is that we actually want to do. And we want to record people who lived and grew up in Muirton and capture their stories, and a lot of the stories before it's too late to capture in their own voices.
And I had my own stories, and I felt the people that I knew, they had stories that others would be interested in hearing as well. And I thought of huge amounts of variations of ways how to put it down, just write a story myself about growing up in Muirton, which I've dabbled with.
The stories that people tell us, they're worthy of, it's like a Ken Loach movie, you know, a story, a play, a short film. It's worthy, the stories are real, they've got gravitas, you know what I mean? That's a big word for me.
But technology has allowed us to get things like podcasts, and anybody can do a podcast now or put stuff on YouTube or anything else.
People need to hear these stories, and it could be, you know, these housing schemes were all over the country, and not just to Great Britain, but there's working class housing schemes all over the world, and they'll all have similar stories.
I think having the balls to speak to Dunks and ask him to help was really important, because I knew I couldn't do it on my own, and I knew I needed somebody that was well known, but also I figured would have the same kind of interest and passion in Muirton, where we both grew up as kids.
Muirton's unique to me. It's personal to me, it's personal to Barney, and it's personal to the people that we are speaking to. So their stories need to be told and heard. It's like somebody's giving you the part of their life. You know, it's like it's an honour. You're sitting there. It's a family. You know, it's usually families. You're sitting there and they're telling you these personal, intimate stories. I don't know. You come away and you're like, oh man, that was. You laugh. You know, you can nearly cry sometimes. It's amazing. It is a buzz. You get a massive buzz out of it because they're sharing something really personal, something really intimate. Not intimate, but it's so personal to them. and they're happy to share that.
I think one of the things that Dunks and I have managed to do in the last 10, 11 months is we've learned how to improve what we're doing, and we've also allowed the stories just to run as long as it takes. At the beginning we were quite concerned about maybe 30 minutes was too long for a podcast. Now we'll turn up at somebody's house and we'll be there 3-4 hours in some cases, and the podcast will end up being a 2-hour recording and not much has been edited down.
Wow, it's emotional, you know, because we said before when we spoke to Peanut Islands, we came away and it was like I think I used the word melancholic. It was like happy sad. It's amazing sitting and listening to people's stories, and once you start talking to somebody, oh, I have nothing to say, they'll say, you know, I have nothing to say, and as soon as you give them the forum, and it's like, you know, it's, as Barney says, it's like 2-3 hours later, and it never stops. It's just like one after the other. It's fantastic.
They'd be talking about places or parts of Muirton, how Muirton looked when they were growing up or whenever they lived there, and we'd have people get in touch saying, no, you were wrong, it was this person, or it was called this. So it began to get quite interactive, and people just wanted to hear more, and some wanted to actually get involved and record their mums or their family so that they could have it.
I've always been proud and never shied away from where I've grown up, and I know there's great people, and they've all got stories to tell, and we're capturing it, and it's fantastic.